sitting on the keys to the kingdom because I know how to use AI and automations to do all that sort of thing because I've helped other businesses and other people do it. So, long story short, I thought of a quote from Tony Robinson from ages back that says, if you want to achieve what someone else has got, do what they do. Just repeat what they do. Copy what they do. And I thought, well, who in my life has got a good personal brand and has got used social media to grow and AI and to grow their business? And strangely enough, I got an email from this dude, calls himself the AI Solopreneur. So I got one, oh blimey, sorry, I was right at the bottom there. So I got one yesterday. I think it was this one that made me think of him. Although I've been following him since 11th of May last year, and I really like his content. And this is who he is. Actually, no, it's not. Yes. So here's what he did. He's got 163,500 followers on X. He helps you. I like the way talking about the third person there. Not I help you guys or whatever, but anyway, he helps you earn more and work less with AI. Fantastic. I'll drink to that. That's exactly what I do with my life, or what I should be doing in my life, what I help other people do. So this is his personal brand. Again, very clear about what he does. He lost a bit of money on, was it Forex? No, crypto. Got a really interesting backstory. And then when that happened, he used AI to help him make over $500,000 in a year. I've got no doubt that, I've not seen his bank account, but I've got no doubt that that's true because of the quality of the stuff that he puts out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have read all his emails for over a year. So finally got round to looking at the sales page for his course, one of his courses, how I went from 0 to 100,000 followers on X in 65 days. And I thought, that's exactly what I want to do. Not necessarily 100,000, but certainly to have a system that I can follow that will help me grow. I don't really understand all the algorithms at the moment. I know how to advertise on Facebook and LinkedIn and Bing and native advertising. I wrote a book on native advertising. But I don't know how to do things organically. And so I looked at his course. Brilliant, fantastic, long form, classic long form sales page. I want this. Bish bosh bang, $249 or $1,000 if you want to have a chat with him. Being a tight ass, I spent the $249. That takes me to the his course, which is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. One of the reasons I know that is that he actually suggests, well, no, he doesn't suggest. He provides his content in this thing called TextBlaze, which is a Chrome plugin, which means that all of people's prompts are pre-formed. So they've sort of customized it so that basically with ChatGPT, you put shit in, you get shit out. It's like, it's obvious. And most of the problems that I have come across with people using it is that they aren't consistent with their prompting. So he goes all through, he helped me sort of work out how to write my sort of my context, then my audience context, who am I trying to help? Business owners who of any size, they're worried about AI, they're concerned about their competitors are using AI. So what this means is the way this works is you've got this shortcut here. So you go into ChatGPT, rather than going, my name's Rob and I, blah, blah, you go /01 and it takes all of that text from here, because I've got this plugin loaded, and it whacks it in the ChatGPT. And then ChatGPT goes straight up, brilliant. Oh, okay. I know you. You're an author. AI expert, coach, fintech and ad tech entrepreneur. So it means anything it writes after that is going to be consistent every time I keep coming back to it. I thought, that's absolutely great. Fantastic. And one of the things in his course, so if we go, I'm not going to show, don't worry. I'm not, I spent $250 on this. I'm not going to give it away. It would be unethical of me to do so. But one of the things that he talks about here, and he does go over it really well, is creating AI written content that sounds so much like you, your mum will think you wrote it. And it does, following the prompts, and so you customize that stuff in Blaze, and it does that. I'm hoping I'll be able to talk to him after recording this video, because I either want to put an affiliate link at the bottom of this one, or you can see the value of how I've taken my side of things, which is I've got a programming background, but I've recently been using low coding automation tools like make.com and Airtable and Zapier and various things like that. And I think I've taken what he's done and I've made it a little bit better. And the way that I've done that is I wrote a little spec for it. So the AI Audience Accelerator, slightly automated and improved, in my humble opinion. So what I've done is I've created a ChatGPT assistant. I could do a whole series of videos on ChatGPT assistants that are so cool. I've uploaded examples. I've written and published 2 books. I've uploaded examples of those. I've also uploaded examples of viral hooks and stuff, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. I'm not going to show you something that's working. I'm going to do a follow along from scratch. Created an Airtable. Airtable's brilliant. I've used big databases all my professional life, like SQL Server, MySQL, DB2, bloody Oracle, NoSQL, and this is just beautiful. It's like Access used to be back in the day, that you can just quickly and easily create interfaces. You can trigger automations. So we're creating an Airtable database to handle and optimize and scale the content generation. And I'm not posting anything without automatically without me or you, because you'll be able to copy this, looking at it. I don't want it to sound, I don't want to be one of these people that spam people with bloody AI generated stuff. I create just 2 automations in make.com. I'll show you exactly how to do that. That handles the content generation and posting. And then critically, where I think this process will add the most benefit, and you might want to drop a little follow and like at the bottom, because this will be a follow along. I aim to use this process. So what I'm going to do is I'm getting the sort of the ID back from the traffic source, not the traffic source, the platform. So whether that's X or LinkedIn or, excuse me, sorry. Oh, went to the pub last night, still burping. And then I'm gonna, you'll see the way I've sort of tweaked a bit of the way that Ole does it. So I want to get, I create content seeds that create content pieces, which are sort of posts, and I'm going to see which of those seeds, just looking, so again, automatically getting the analytics so that I can find the things that work best, use those as a scientific, as the control, then I'll create variations of those to try and just improve the content. So I'll use consistency and Kaizen. Kaizen's the Japanese approach of constant improvement to do more of what works and less of what doesn't. So in theory, it all sounds like hard work, but I've developed this system that's going to do a lot of the hard work. This is the database design. I never do anything without spec. I'm not expecting, I should imagine that most people looking at this, I'll go through it in a bit more. So yeah, using Airtable and Make, we're going to create ChatGPT assistant with instructions. Okay, I've already said all of this. These are the tables within Airtable. This is the way that I want it to work. And I find that when you're working in make.com and Airtable, because there's so many moving parts, I like to write down exactly what I'm going to do first. And so what it sort of ends up looking like is this, but I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. So we've got platforms, content and briefs. So this is what you saw earlier. So it's just who I am, what I do, who my audience is. It goes into a bit more, talks about their frustrations and desires, dreams and fears. I could talk about. So I want it to. It's going to be generating images, and you can go into so much detail. Again, that's for another video, but I've just started it with this. Make stunning and photorealistic images, and then very importantly for me, old chap, is write with British English spelling of words. So utilise with an S, not utilise with a Z. Use the writing style of Rob Keast from the 2 books of his you have in your vector store. Okay, I'm going to show you. We'll start off by creating. So, what list are we doing things in? What spec am I working from? This one, I think. And yes, I know this isn't a flowchart, but I just whacked this up using Excalibur. And it's lovely, this, and it's on Obsidian, which I've just started using to organise my notes. Works brilliantly. openai.com/playground/chat. This is where you create ChatGPT assistants. Go to assistants. This is a sort of a more of a sandbox for me. This is where I've tried to help it in my day job, because I write software for financial. Well, I don't. My team do. But we're going to create an assistant. And we're going to give it a friendly name, so we'll call it the Automated AI Audience Accelerator. Accelerator. Now, instructions, I'm just going to use something I've already prepared, but it's sort of, this again is where you just tell it what the writing style is, read and analyse the books in your memory, called this and that. So what you would do is, if you've written books, I'll show you how. Actually, let's just upload them first. Let's not be a div. So we're going to enable file search, and we're going to add files, drag and drop. Hopefully I'm open on the right one. I am. So this is this is my bookie wookie. And here's one I wrote 2016, which that's why I'd sort of never really got round to doing anything of a social media brand me type thing. These books sort of got me all the business that I needed. But anyway, so I'm going to take these 3 files. I'm going to upload them. So it's then available to this ChatGPT assistant. So it's indexing them, it's creating vector databases, which is basically turning words into numbers. I think I'm talking too much. So that's all it needs, those 3. Hooks is just, they don't want you to know this secret. So this is just hooks that I want to use on my video scripts and stuff. I mean, I'm no copywriter, but that's sort of why it's there. So that is all it needs to be able to write exactly like me, because I'm now going to give it this these instructions. You can do a lot more. You can call functions. We don't need to worry about that for now, but I'm going to give it these instructions. Again, I like to tell it to use British English, talk about my background, talk about my approach. So all video scripts should start with a captivating hook. Tells it a bit about what I'm doing now. So I'm just going to copy all of that. paste it into the instructions, and I don't think, yeah, it's updated, so that's saved. So now we're going to create an Airtable base. So I'm going to go over to Airtable, which I think I've got running in Safari. I have. I'll create a new one. Right, so you can either add or import or just start. So again, I've got this spec here. I'll show you how I do the first few. So I'm going to create content brief table. I'm going to create a content seed table. I'm going to create all these tables. Actually, I'll start with platform because it'll make a lot more sense. So the only field I'm going to have on here is name. So we're going to do first rename this. It's going to be platform. Delete. Delete. I don't like the way it always gives you 3 empty rows, so I'm going to delete one of these, and I'm going to say that this is X, and this is LinkedIn. Because it's going to give different types of prompts based on what platform we're working on. And going back to Ole's stuff, so if we go back to here, he's got different prompts for different viral Twitter, viral LinkedIn, hook writer, newsletter, blah, blah, blah. I'm only going to be focusing on one because I don't want to show you all of his stuff. Not till I've spoken to him. So again, right, next table, content prompt. Actually, I'm going to move this out the way, and I will probably, if I can work out how to fast forward through this section of the video, I'll just do a couple more. You'll see why. I will explain it, but that is based on the relationship of these two tables here. Content piece and content seed. So one content seed has many content pieces, and one content prompt has many content seeds. Don't worry about it. I will make it all easy to understand, I hope. Right, I'm going to add. So now I'm going to get rid of that one. Or can I just edit it? I just want this to be a button. Title is going to be generate. This is a button that we're going to click that will that will go off and do all of the hard work. It's going to open a URL. I'm going to call the label, this is what it shows as, generate. And what we'll do, we'll have to fill this in a bit when we've done the make.com stuff. This is why you need to, well, I need to, other people may well be able to keep all this stuff in their brain, but I can't. So what this basically does is it goes away, it calls a webhook that we're going to write in make.com. I'm going to need to change the address of this. And it passes the unique record ID of this record into the automation in make.com. So I'm actually going to just change this so that just in case it doesn't do anything stupid. So for instance, in fact I'll show it working. We can change this to https://google.co.uk. Save. If you actually click that, it opens a new record that's gone to google.co.uk. And it's probably got that in the URL. Yeah, record ID equals. Oh, I actually overwrote It's not content brief, dickhead. Renames. It's me, the dickhead, by the way. This is content seed. I'm going to recreate the content brief table. Scratch content brief. Phewy. Right. Now we just need to fill in some of this stuff. And it should all start to make sense. So I'm going to start with content briefs. So what we're going to have in here is a context. Shift and enter. Audience. This needs to be, I need to have this typed properly, because if I go to my spec here, then my automation is going to be looking for things called context, audience, brand guidelines. In fact, I'm going to go here. Image guidelines, just because I do a lot of typos. I'm only human after all. I'm just going to copy this in from one I've already made. So again, you'll be able to see very quickly that this is exactly the stuff that was in here. But I'm taking stuff from being in this Blaze dashboard, and I'm putting it into here. I'm Rob Keast. I don't like the look of that. Anyway. Audience. Let's get the audience out. Again, let's go like that. Let's go like that. My audience are brand guidelines. I think it's branding. Let me just double check. Yeah, no, it's brand guidelines. So this is where you would put in, if you've got proper brand guidelines, I want you to write in this style, or write in the style of this author, or follow these. So what I'm saying here is, you saw me pop these two books up into my ChatGPT assistant. I'm saying only write in the style of those books and use British English spelling. Not that I've got anything against the American spelling, but this is creating content me, and I write in British English spelling. And why I'm going to have to do some work on that. It's no surprise that if I get crap. Content source. Okay. So this is where I'm not going to go into the details about Ole's course, but sort of the standard context. This is what you would give it. This is what you could give ChatGPT if you wanted it. If you didn't want to steer it with your own content, and if you just wanted it to, sorry, I can't type. Well, A, I can't type, and B, I can't type and spell at the same time. So I'm saying, analyze the context and audience I gave you and think about ideas compelling to my audience. And here I'm going to say ChatGPT for business. Don't forget, there'll be a link to download that underneath this video. My AI Bookie. And this is where I tell it that I want it to write in the style of this book. So it's only going to write using my writing, and it's only going to use the anecdotes and case studies and everything else from that book. So it should be very easy for me to say. Arbitrage. Native ads. Christ, my son's come home making noise. Okay. Content seed, we'll come back to that. Content prompt. Right, this is where I'm going to be a bit cheeky and I'm going to show you a bit of one of the content prompts of Ole's. There's literally 20 of them, so, and it's sort of, again, I've got nothing but respect for this, but I'm just going to use one of them. I'm going to use the motivational LinkedIn activist. I want you to write 5 actionable posters, and then so what you do is you sort of go into ChatGPT, you type /AAA9, you fill these things in, you fill that in with the context that you've got from here. So that way you're getting really good. But what this did, and this is why I wanted to change it and sort of improve it. 1, I might want to do more than 5 or less. 2, I don't want to have to keep typing this in all the time, even if it is really easy using this TextBlaze plugin. And 3, I don't want to have to copy and paste from the results of what am I trying to say, of ChatGPT or whatever. You know, you can see here I've got Perplexity, Claude, Gemini open. I don't just use ChatGPT. But anyway, motivational LinkedIn activist. So I'm going to go and fill that in. So we're just going to have one content prompt. And I need to change this slightly because, and this is where I think I'm sprinkling pixie dust on it. And it's not, it's sort of taken it, it's just, I've used what Ole's done and I'd like to think improved it, but maybe just moderated it for the way that I like to work. So what I've done is I've got a variable name in here, number to generate. And funnily enough, that comes from the content seed that we give it. And again, rather than, oh my word, come here. For context. So this will be replaced with the context. This will be replaced with the audience. Still using his examples and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to quickly do that. So say now, this is the way I change it slightly. And this is because I want this to be consumed by Make to come back into Airtable. And from Airtable, for us to be able to sort of control and post these. And I'm telling it to silently, so source, silently source, again, source gets changed, number to generate gets changed. I'm very specific about the JSON I want it to create. And that's it. I don't want to be sharing all this stuff. I just want to show you what my interpretation of it was and how I think Yeah, well, I'm lazy. I'm basically lazy. So what we do then is we create a content seed, which then creates a content piece. I'm going to move these over to the left because these are the most important tables. And so I want it to generate something for LinkedIn. I want it to use the prompt motivational LinkedIn activist. Source, can either get it to use the context or get it to use my GPT book or my native arbitrage book. Let's start with this one. I want it to create, I'm going to say 6 just because the original posted 5. And times used is 0. And that's it. Now, we've got to go over to Make. So this is a sandbox area for Make. This is where we're going to create stuff in Make that actually does the work. So what I always say in Make, which is again, this is sort of, there's quite a bit of work to do here. But I've already decided what I'm going to call this scenario, this automation. Because if you don't get organized, if you don't use a good naming convention, if you don't plan out what you're going to do like this, I can use this for my team then. This is like documenting why it's there, why it's created. I could hire someone off of Fiverr and say, if we're too busy, and say, this is how this automation was made, this is what it does, go off and change it to do X. So I'm going to go through each one of these. I'd flip-flap through them, but I'm just going to move that out of the way for a second. So I'm going to, I always say in the scenarios, create a folder, use a really specific naming convention. This is all crap testing stuff. I was doing faceless videos. Actually worked quite well, but I'm going to call this AI automated, not using the same name as Ollie, automated AI Audience Accelerator. It's got a few quirks, this has. Like it types a capital U when it should be a lowercase u. So now I'm going to go into here, create a new scenario. And this one, as I said, it's going to be called by a webhook, which is called by that generate button that we created. And so I'll show you exactly how to do this. This is a custom webhook. I'm not going to choose a hook. I'm going to just click that add button, and then I'm going to call it my Airtable hook. Not restricted to any IPs, and then it's sitting here, it's waiting for some data. So I'm going to copy this address to the clipboard. I'm going to go back into, where on earth am I going? This is where it gets a bit confusing. Edit this field, and I'm changing this URL here to be the URL that's from that webhook. So you see that is the same as that. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to test that by saying, oh no, I need to send it some data first, don't I? So I'm going to send it some data. I'll say generate, which goes off to that exact address that I gave it with the specific record ID, and it says it's accepted. I know it's crap UX to have it open up a blank page, but this is this was just a proof of concept for me, really. We go back into the webhook, we can see it's received one result, successfully determined the call that it gets, which is pretty damn slick. So we could run that once. I always like to run everything once as you're creating them so that you can double test it. I'm double testing it. It's accepted. If I got that address wrong, or there wasn't something listening on that for that webhook, we can see here what it's been passed in is a record ID of this. And to add Airtable, and we're going to get the record of the content seed, which is the first, which is the webhook. So what I always like to do is I like to just rename these so it makes it clear. Called content seed. Get content seed. Okay. And save something. Okay. Okay. Next. Now I'm going to get all of those context, my context records. We're going to put them all into variables. This is what I was saying in the spec here. This is hopefully going to start making a bit of sense, but we're looking up those custom values and I want to put them in seed ID, context, audience, image guidelines, brand, number to generate, and we're going to assign them to variables which we can then use later on in the automation. So this is going to be an Airtable. Then it's a search record. Get a record, search record. Search records. Base is going to be content brief. Sorry, no. It's the table is content brief. And what we want, there's only one view at the moment. And the formula is title. This is hard coded because I've been very specific about how I named things. Title equals context. And the output fields are going to be title and text. And we're just going to test this. I only want to have one row, and this will hopefully start to make a bit of sense. Save that. Run it. Call it. Watch it running. So now what this has done is this has gone and pulled all of the details. There you go. Let's pull that prompt through. Content. And then this should have pulled through. Found one record. And the text is I'm Rockist. That's because we're going to call it context. So rename this, get context. Context. It's easy for me to say. And then just to speed things up, I'm going to duplicate this. How many times? 3 or 4 times. Get audience, get guidelines, get branding guidelines. Duplicate, clone. Clone. 2, 3, 4. So we've got the context, the next one is the audience. Again, I like to sort of prompt myself as I'm going to make sure that I know you're going to have about 10 different things open in your brain when you're working on these types of automations. Okay. Set variable. Okay, yeah, so I've got to go and edit each of these and change it from being. Again, just check that I didn't do any typos or anything. So I'm going to go back to my content seed, click generate, accepted, and we can see it go bang, 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 bang. All of these have returned some text right with British English spelling. Stunning and photorealistic. Bit longer. Business owners scared of using AI or not using AI. FOMO. Gee, let's just run that and you'll see where I'm coming from. Let's save this. Run it again. Test it again. So what I've been trying to do, all of this has been so that I can get a usable prompt. But I've still got, I need to change this number to generate. I need to change this context, to change this audience. Here's one of the really annoying things about using Make is you can't easily do this in one go. So I've got to do 4 set variables. Text, that's a math one, general, text one, so I wouldn't replace. And the syntax is you give it the prompt, so this would change hello world from, it would change the hello to be hi in hello world. So what's going in here is my prompt variable, which is this. And I'm starting with context. So I want specifically this text context. I want to replace it with my variable for context. So what you'll see now, again, if we run this, if we save this and run this, rather than saying the word, the square brackets context, I just think everyone can see what's going to happen. My prompt is now, I want you to, so I haven't changed that first, but then for context, I am Rob Keast. I am an AI expert. Generate some records with the content seed record. I want to update it. I'm going to update a record. So this is going to be content seed. Record ID is going to be that first one that got passed in. Status last used time is going to be now. That's one of the functions here. Now. Times used, we're going to use a sum. Again, we're going to use a maths prompt here, so it's sum. And then that's going to be, separate them with semicolons, so that is going to be, go all the way back to here, times used, which is blank, but that sort of is a 0, but we're going to add 1 to it. We're going to make the prompt the last prompt. So there's a few things that should happen here. We should end up with a beautiful prompt that's ready for our OpenAI assistant. This record should get updated to say it's been used once at 1754. Woo! So last times used is 0, last used time is blank, and prompt is blank. So we're going to say generate, accepted. Let's watch all this come in. Bang. Why does it stop there? I'm going to freaking run it. Okay, it's got some data coming in. I'm going to say use that. You can see it banging through there. Bang, 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 bang. I just want to see what that prompt ended up looking like. So brilliant. I want you to write 6. Woohoo! For context, I'm Rob Keith. Then it should go into the business owners. There, that's right. And it should go further down. There's something else that gets changed, I think. Yep, so then there's all of that. And I think that was everything that got changed. And let's see if it's updated that record in here. Yes, last used time, 5:55. Times used once. And it's got our big prompt in it. Yabba dabba doo! Now here's where the magic happens. Here's where we call the AI. So we're going to add a OpenAI messaging assistant. I've already got it connected. I'll do another video on how to actually set up these connections. It's a thinking about it. So we created one called the Automated AI Audience Accelerator. Nothing like bad spelling. I'll keep it as a user. And the prompt is this one. That is it. Other than that is it. You don't have to tell this how many okay, you can tell it what tools, if I would added some tools into this assistant, but I haven't, so I'm going to say okay. That is literally going to create us some JSON. Let's run it. Okay, let's run, save, run once, generate, accepted, bang, 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 bang. Take you with a gin Sunday afternoon. See what it's come back with. What value? There we go. JSON. I'm going to do another one, but so here we've got multiple content items of JSON. Actually, no, just to show you. Write a prompt to create an image using Dali or Midjourney or Ideogram or Flux. It's an image to go on a platform post. So here you could search for platform if you wanted. Got a variable platform. Platform. I want it to go here. Platform post. Follow these guidelines. So this is where I've got my image guidelines. Which is all the way back here somewhere. Branding, image guidelines. Stunning and photo. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get decent. This is the title of the post. That is what's in this array. So it's going to be title. This is the caption. Just format that so it's in those hyphens. Make the image prompt you generate. Make the image. Make sure the image prompt you generate creates an image that is compelling and intriguing to my audience, who are, you guessed it, my audience. Tokens. This will use up a few tokens because it's quite a long prompt, but that's going to create us a beautiful image generating prompt. So now I'm going to generate image prompt. Generate an image model DALL-E 3 prompt. The result would be there, so I'm just going to use that because I know that it will be there. Again, I'm going to save this just to make sure that it doesn't look all skew with. It's just getting a bit hard to see it all on one screen. I could move all those prompts around, but I ain't gonna. So it rifles its way through the first few, and as it has done always. Oh, it's going to run this 6 times. I'm going to, because it iterates, so it basically goes through this. You'll see this when it gets here. Cheers, by the way. Here's a really nice thing you can do. Collaborative, create new view. What we're going to use is the status field. So this shows us which records need editing, so we can go in here, we can look at it like this. That's what I do love about these things, is we can edit anything. Here's that. If I wanted to read, if there was something really bad about this prompt, I could edit it there. Look, it knows it's filled in LinkedIn image. It knows that that's the right size for LinkedIn. I didn't even know that. I could Google it. But when I'm happy with that one, I mean, all those images do look a bit similar, but we can just go bosh. That's now ready to post. So those will go in a queue, and I'll show you how to do that next. And they will, then something will run on a timer basis, and they'll get posted. They could run on a trigger or an automation in here, but I like to create everything in here. What I wrote on the spec of this, I'm going to do another one for LinkedIn. And I'll just show you how different the content is if I were to use the native arbitrage book. We've only got one thing in here, motivational LinkedIn post, number to generate. Just 5 this time. This is live. I thought it defaulted to live. Hasn't been used. I'm going to run this one now. So you can see the difference in the content that gets created. So this, I'm going to run it again. This, I'm going to click generate. So this is now generating content based on my native arbitrage book as opposed to my ChatGPT book. I'm going to show you a couple of nice little things while it does it. So that's now running. So this was after running the running that automation again, but for the 5 records from my other book. So we can see here the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. For the ChatGPT, the top bottom 5 were for native arbitrage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not sure why there's AI in that one, but the magnetic headline definitely talked about that. Ad creation, retargeting, unlocking the secrets of native ad victors. Not sure I'd really use that. Study the playbook of native ad victors. 80/20 AI brings. But it's definitely, you can see the different content. It's talking about, I definitely talk a lot about retargeting in that book. I certainly don't in the ChatGPT book. Yeah, Presner probably doesn't even exist anymore, does it? Test images and headlines en masse. I tried to create a product that did that. Never got off the ground. In a split second, a headline determines your... Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you know Ollie, let him know this exists. If you see value in this, let me know. If you see something I've done wrong, let me know. Hopefully you realise that it's, I haven't plagiarised anything. I've just put my spin on what I thought was already great, but I've just done it so that it's better. I think so anyway. Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe. I think I'm going to stop working for the day. I don't think I've got the strength to edit that video, but maybe starting tomorrow I shall start using it to do some regular posting on LinkedIn and X. And yeah, well, I hope it's been useful to you. Goodbye.